Saint William Tyndale, a Protestant saint, was executed October 1536 by strangulation and then set on fire. It's safe to say, Tyndale had known they would eventually kill him. Tyndale became chaplain at the home of Sir John Walsh and tutored his children. Around 1521, his opinions proved controversial to fellow clergymen, and the next year he was summoned before John Bell, the Chancellor of the Diocese of Worcester. After the meeting with Bell and other church leaders, Tyndale, according to John Fox, had an argument with a learned but blasphemous clergyman who asserted,
"We had better be without God's laws than the Pope's."
To which Tyndale responded,
"I defy the Pope and all his laws, and if God spares my life ere many years, I will cause the boy that driveth the plough to know more of the Scriptures than thou dost."
Tyndale had finished translating the first Bible ever translated into English, and had it published in 1526, to smuggle the Word of God into England. The books were hidden in barrels of cloth and transported in ships along the Rhine. Catholic bishops rounded up the Bibles and publicly burned them. They claimed they were upset about around 8 to 10 words that they said were anti-clerical and heretical, even though it was just the words, translated correctly. In 1530, from exile, he wrote The Practice of Prelates, opposing Henry VIII's desire to secure the annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon in favor of Anne Boleyn, on the grounds that it was unscriptural and that it was a plot by Cardinal Wolsey to get Henry entangled in the papal courts. Tyndale cared what the Word of God had to say on issues more than that of men. King Henry VIII asked Emperor Charles V to have the writer apprehended and returned to England. However, the emperor responded that formal evidence was required before extradition. In 1531 he asked Stephen Vaughan to persuade Tyndale to retract his heretical opinions and return to England. Vaughan tried to persuade Tyndale and forwarded copies of his books, but this did not satisfy the king. Eventually, Tyndale was betrayed by Henry Phillips to ducal authorities representing the Holy Roman Empire. He was seized in 1535 and held in a castle near Brussels. Tyndale was held in prison for a year and a half while they tried to change his mind away from the Word of God and on to faith in the Roman Church. When Tyndale could not be convinced to recant, he was handed over to the Brabantini secular arm and tried on charges of Lutheran heresy in 1536, which is to say he was killed for faith that was saved by the sacrifice of Christ alone. Let us not forget our saints and never stop reading the Bible.